Part 9. Pokemon's Character Master. Author, Ai Ren Huoqiang Xiao. Chapter 84. Look, there's a fire over there. No way, isn't that the place where students who challenge the instructor and win go? Why is it so scary? Oh my god, who knows what kind of training they received? It's too scary. I feel like it's better for me to stay in my own company peacefully. The melon-eating people who didn't know the truth were inexplicably more afraid of the training at the snake camp. The scenes they saw were a bit exaggerated. The training, how could the entire training ground be burned down? But what they didn't know was that it was not the instructors who set the training ground on fire, but the freshmen like them. Sharp Snake Camp Training Ground. Swamp King, Blue Crocodile, and Gem Starfish immediately acted as firefighters and began to use water guns to extinguish the fire in this overgrown grassy section. Those grass-type elves that ran away without looking back were also brought back, but they all lowered their heads like babies who had done something wrong. Adjutant How. Rainbow Snake, cough, cough, cough. The adjutant of Lishan Camp had already moved away from the billowing smoke, but he still inevitably took a few puffs. This is really a big deal, take all the new students away first. Adjutant How. Instructor Rainbow Snake looked confused and looked extremely confused. What's wrong? Is there anything else? Adjutant How, there is another student who has left the team, the fat guy who runs the fastest. Instructor Rainbow Snake hesitated. The adjutant of the Snake Battalion forgot what he should say for a moment. With such a big incident like the training ground being burned down, he almost forgot that there was another person, yes, the one who caused the entire program to collapse. That fat man. Then why are you standing here? Why don't you hurry up and chase after him? Adjutant How raised his eyebrows. Oh, yes. Adjutant How, I'm going to chase you. Instructor Rainbow Snake slapped his head, feeling that his IQ instantly became max. Adjutant How, I'm going to trouble you here. Oh my god, the back is on fire, it's terrible, military training is really terrible. Gao Mao ran away in panic, while holding onto the two straps of the agate jellyfish to stabilize it. The balance of a small high hat on the head. The agate jellyfish nodded in agreement. Although a real man never looked back at the explosion, it still looked back and said, "Oh my god," it hugged Gao Mao's head tightly and almost dropped it in fright. Where are the others? Gao Mao suddenly braked hard, causing the agate jellyfish to lose its grip and fly directly from Gao Mao's head. Fortunately, Gao Mao held the two long straps in his hands, so it didn't catch it. The tragedy of ejection occurred. But this elastic band still made the agate jellyfish keep shaking up and down. When it returned to Gao Mao's head again, his eyes were filled with the magic of love spinning in circles. No, they were blocked by the fire. What can we do? Little Top Hat, we have to rescue them. Gao Mao looked very anxious. If we don't help them come out and are trapped by the fire, Yang Yu and Hong Kong will neither Fang Chen nor Wenren Fang Chen can pass the test, so what's the point of special military training here alone? Onyx Jellyfish is still in a dizzy state, and the shaking of its head is almost the same as nodding. Okay, Little Top Hat, you agree, then we have to find a way to put out such a fire and help them come over. Gao Mao gritted his teeth. He saw that the raging flames over there had begun to emit thick smoke. There were still some columnar water guns in the smoke, and Gao Mao was determined to rescue his companions. This must be Wenren Fang Chen and the others who are working together to put out the fire. You must wait for me, hold on, Yang Yu, Hong Kong, and Wenren Fang Chen. I'll go find reinforcements for you. The agate jellyfish has a head full of questions. What did the owner just say? At this time, Gao Mao saw another person appear behind him. That person was none other than the bad guy Rainbow Snake instructor. Wow, instructor, you actually refused to save me, and you still want to arrest me at this time. This is obviously because you don't want all the freshmen to pass this shabby test. Damn it! Gao Mao was filled with righteous indignation, and the fat on his body seemed to be burning blazing calories. Boom! His rather round belly trembled. Gao Mao looked serious, put on his little top hat solemnly, and tied the two long straps tightly around his forehead with both hands, as if it was completed. AO2-man transformation is the same. Don't even try to catch me, I'm going to find reinforcements. At this time, the agate jellyfish finally woke up from the dizzy state and found that its master had actually entered a super invincible fighting state. So, let us hunt those who are trapped in darkness. The gradually scarlet eyes of the agate jellyfish seem to be wearing Vane's glasses. The scene at this time is like Summoner's Canyon. All his teammates were soaking in the spring water at home, and he was the only one left. Vane takes action, no teammates. So here comes the question. The agate jellyfish was confused for a while. Why should we run? Gao Mao, we're back to form the team. The training is temporarily over. The instructor's voice was really helpless. Who would have thought that this year's military training freshmen could do so well? Instructor, don't try to lie to me, I won't be caught by you. Gao Mao refused firmly and stepped onto the next muddy road without changing his expression. Instructor Rainbow Snake is in bad shape. When did he lie to others? Also, this training has been suspended forcibly. Gao Mao, what do you still want? Hey! The training has really been suspended. What if I lied to you? I lied to you that I was a puppy. Instructor Rainbow Snake was really convinced. He was so anxious that he even said the words, I lied to you that I was a puppy. What else do you want? The leader holding a telescope in the distance looked at the fat man's behavior with dumbfounded eyes. This is the first time I have seen someone dare to provoke the Swampert like this. I am still a junior trainer who has just started, but why am I like this? Do you like this fat guy? When Gao Mao stepped into the muddy road with one foot, the swamp monster had already seen through everything. When the giant swamp monster slowly stood up from the mud pond not far from the muddy road, it also threw a piece of mud on the road in front of Gao Mao. Swamp leap, no, swamp monster. Gao Mao was startled when he stopped his angry steps and looked at the huge guy next to him who was covered in mud. Why is there a swampert here? Almost at the same time, an idea flashed in Gao Mao's mind, and he made a decision that he didn't even dare to think of. I can't control that much anymore. Gao Mao clenched his hand. Come on, hit me. Just a little bit. Swamp monster, come and fight me, come to my side. Gao Mao twisted his fat waist while making faces and sweating profusely. Even an agate jellyfish couldn't understand what his master was doing. Could it be that he hadn't played computer games for a long time and was crazy? However, an unnoticed smile flashed across Gao Mao's lips. Roar. Swampert is angry. Mudshot. Ha 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 ha, come and hit me. You can't hit me, just slightly. Gao Mao tried his best to use various exaggerated gestures to attract the giant swamp monster to come out of the quagmire, while swearing fiercely in his heart. Yang Yu, Hong Kong, Wen Ren Fang Chen. You guys, wait for me. Thanks to AAA Oh My God and Long Ten Yunnan Tian for their 100 coin fish farming support. Thanks to all the trainers for their recommendation votes. Swampert, votes. Roar. Pokemon's Character Master. Author, AI Ren Huo Chiang Xiao. Chapter 86. I'm obedient, this fat man, what do you want to do? Is it crazy? No, right? Is he like to lead the giant marsh monster to the fire? He used the telescope and narrowed his eyes. Oh my God, how can there be such an upright person? Doesn't he know that there is already a water elf rescue team putting out the fire in the burning grassland? Oh, my poor rainbow snake instructor, doesn't it feel good to be hit by mud? When the group leader picked up the telescope again, his whole body trembled. Gao Mao, you What are you doing? Instructor Rainbow Snake felt like he was going crazy, he never expected it. This Swampert was originally the protagonist of the third game, and was just an elf who only played in the mud and joked around. Now, it seems angry. Very angry. And the initiator was the one in front of me who stopped and twisted his butt while running, Gao Mao. What Rainbow Snake didn't expect was that this was originally to greet these little guys who had just come to the training camp, but the giant swamp monster directly hit him in the face with a mud shot. Doesn't this count as shooting oneself in the foot? Damn it! Instructor, get out of the way, I'm going to save people. Gao Mao ran past the instructor without saying a word and shouted loudly. Are you saving people? Instructor Rainbow Snake's eyes widened in disbelief. Are you trying to harm others? Snapped. At this time, a piece of sticky mud directly hit the Rainbow Snake instructor's face. The Rainbow Snake instructor subconsciously touched his face. The sticky mud made him furious for an instant, but when he saw that he was about to reach the battlefield, when there's a swamp monster, run away. Call the adjutant, the battalion commander's swamp monster is on the rampage. Call the adjutant, this is the Rainbow Snake, and the battalion commander's Swampert is heading towards, The giant swamp monster didn't even look at the Rainbow Snake instructor, and continued to chase Gao Mao. He waved his arm and brought a large amount of mud. Instructor Rainbow Snake really wants to cry. This is for freshmen, not for an old bird like him. Gao Mao, you bastard who cheated the instructor. Yang Yu covered his nose. The thick smoke that spread after the vegetation was doused with water was really pungent. Fortunately, except for some water-type elves who knew how to use water guns, all the other elves in the team had collected their elf balls. Wang, you are too cruel. Murong Wentao was trembling now. Seeing those grass-type elves who were running away like crazy before, and then thinking of his own Bulbasaur, he really couldn't afford to offend them. Wang Qian glanced at Murong Wentao coldly and praised the fire dinosaur. Fire dinosaur, you did a good job. Wang, will the instructor impose any punishment? No matter what punishment he has, why can't we fight back? Wenren Fang Chen, your Squirtle is still too weak. Wenren Yunhai ordered his Kami turtle to use the most powerful water gun, and then looked at the poor Squirtle beside him. Tut. Wenren Fang Chen didn't want to talk to this annoying person, but for some reason, there seemed to be a vibration under his feet. Hong Kun, do you feel any vibration under your feet? Yang Yu touched his nose and looked into the depths of the thick smoke in front of him, feeling a bad premonition. Yang Yu. Hong Kun. Wenren Fang Chen. I'm here to save you. The voice full of hope crossed the sky. This is Gao Mao's voice. Gao Mao, we are over here, Yang Yu shouted. The thick smoke had not dissipated yet, and Yang Yu could only tell Gao Mao his direction with his voice. Quick, hurry back, I'm bringing reinforcements. Gao Mao looked extremely excited. Reinforcements? What reinforcements? Yang Yu and Hong Kong beside him were stunned. A shadow appeared from the smoke, and then a fat man with a sweaty head and a dark face ran out. There was also an agate jellyfish belt tied around the place where the nose breathed. Yang Yu was quite happy when he saw Gao Mao, but when he saw another huge shadow appearing in the smoke behind Gao Mao, Yang Yu's expression changed. What the hell is this? I'm looking for reinforcements to help put out the fire. Everyone, run away. This fire must be a test intentionally caused by the instructor. I can't leave you here, so I'm looking for a reinforcement. Gao Mao looked serious. Everyone, run away, it's coming. Yang Yu didn't quite understand what a test deliberately set up by the instructor meant. Wasn't the fire dinosaur set by the bad-tempered girl? There was no time to think too much, because the figure behind the smoke appeared. Canyon Pioneer, Yang Yu rubbed his eyes. When did the Canyon Pioneer become an elf? Gao Mao on the side said hey and patted Yang Yu on the shoulder, you know the Kenyan pioneer. I can play black when I get back. As soon as the agate jellyfish on Gao Mao's head heard the word open black, he immediately waved two ribbons excitedly, and he couldn't help himself with excitement. You two are still thinking about playing black? What the hell happened? Yang Yuneokyo felt a little pain. Giant, swamp monster. Quick, run, this swamp monster is angry. Run quickly, Wenren Yunhai, run with the Kami turtle. And Wenren Fang Chen, don't let Squirtle use the water gun. The moment Murong Wentao saw the giant swampert covered in mud, he felt some scalps are numb, this is dirty mud. Mud shot. Biubiu. Swamp monster. Swamp monster, the adjutant of the Snake Battalion shouted loudly. He still didn't understand what happened. Why did the swamp monster in the third entertainment program come here? The swamp monster glanced at this somewhat familiar person and fired a mud shot. The adjutant of the Lish Battalion hurriedly hid. Who can tell me what the hell happened? The water elves who used the water gun in front suffered an unforeseen disaster. They were not prepared at all. Suddenly, they were shot with mud all over their bodies and turned into little mud elves. The sticky mud slowed them down and they could run away even if they wanted to. Do not move. Squirtle. Kami turtle. Wenren Fang Chen and Wenren Yunhai shouted almost at the same time. Close hand. At this moment, a loud shout came from not far away. Adujula ran towards the training ground like lightning and stopped steadily in front of Yang Yu and others. Behind it, a frowning instructor slowly walked over. With every step he took, the surrounding atmosphere became more depressing. The moment the angry swampert saw this figure, he immediately stopped shooting mud, looked at the few pieces of mud in his hand, quickly hid it behind his back, and secretly smeared it on his back. All freshmen, all instructors, clean the training ground and gather within 10 minutes. The instructor took off his sunglasses and stared at everyone with a pair of emotionless eyes. This made Yang Yu feel a chill on his back, as if he was being targeted by a poisonous snake. Commander of the Snake Battalion, Viper. Thanks to book friend Bear. Grills 1,200 coins, naming invisible 100 coins, and Yu Yinlai's death 100 coins for fish farming fund support daily votes. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Pokemon's Character Master. Author, Ai Ren Huo Xiangxiao. Chapter 87. The commander of the Sharp Snake Battalion stood here, watching the freshmen clean up the training ground. He did not speak until the team was neatly assembled. Almost, enough fun. Your performance, quite impresses me. A Magikarp who refused to run in the first level, a fire dinosaur who burned down the second level, and a person who writhed around in the third level to anger Swampert. Yang Yu, what do you mean by the fire dinosaur that burned down the second level? Wasn't the fire dinosaur that girl's elf? Why did she burn the grass? Gao Mao's mind was now full of black questions. The grass, isn't it the instructor's lighting? Isn't this the instructor's test? How could it be? Yang Yuzheng was about to explain, but was directly interrupted by the battalion commander. What are you two whispering about? Do you know that when the instructor is speaking, you are not allowed to whisper? If something happens, remember to call a report. Viper looked coldly in the direction of Gao Mao and Yang Yu, say it's you two who are the most important. The Magikarp who refused to run in the first level is your elf, right, Yang Yu? The one who twists and turns to anger the Swampert is you, isn't it, Gao Mao? Report to the instructor, that is. Yang Yu immediately became serious. High explosive, oh no, tell the instructor. Yes, Gao Mao got nervous and said the wrong word. Tell me, you two have something worth talking about. Tell it so I can listen too, Battalion Commander Viper raised his eyebrows, but his calm tone did not allow for doubt. That instructor, didn't you start this fire? Gao Mao replied quickly, with a surprised look on his face. What do you mean this fire was not set by us? The fire that rose in the grass was lit by this female classmate's elf fire dinosaur using the flame vortex move. The Viper Battalion commander glanced in Wang Qian's direction. Qian still had the expression of going her own way, not feeling at all that she had done anything wrong. Ah, Gao Mao clearly felt himself trembling, and his chin trembled. This, instructor, isn't this fire a test? Of course it's not a test. You are all college students, not the real elite of the snake camp. We will not use fire, poison or other special moves that threaten the safety of you and the elves. You don't think that this one the fire was set by our instructor, right? The serious face of the Viper instructor suddenly snorted, and he lowered his head to hide his smile. So, you go to provoke the giant swamp monster and want the giant swamp monster to come help you put out the fire of this test. Gao Mao nodded his head as if he was pecking at rice. Hong Kong looked at Gao Mao with admiration this time. You, are you sure you are not a joke sent by the monkey? My god, Swampert is not an ordinary elf. It is a powerful elf after the water-leaping fish has completed 2 evolutions. In the future, there will even be incredible super evolutions. How dare you, Gao Mao? Almost at the same time, Yang Yu patted Gao Mao's shoulder and understood Gao Mao's thoughts in his heart. Good brother, thank you very much. Gao Mao had a smile on his face, but his legs started to shake a little. Now I understand where this giant swamp monster came from. It turned out that you brought it. Those who didn't know why looked at Gao Mao angrily. Their clothes still had traces of mud left by the giant swamp monster. Is this person mentally ill? Wenren Yunhai, who participated in the firefighting, said to himself. He was on the front line of the firefighting. As a result, the crazy swamp monster directly hit his cami turtle with a mud shot. When the shot hit the ground, the heavy mud made it difficult for the Camilla turtle to walk. You're the one with the sick brain. Wenren Fangchen looked at Wenren Yunhai coldly. What did you say? The rest of you, be quiet. Instructor Viper put away the smile on his face, and fixed his terrifying gaze in the direction of Wenren Fangchen and Wenren Yunhai. After a long time, he slowly withdrew his stern gaze, and slowly he softened and asked the question he wanted to ask the most. What were you thinking at the time? Only at this moment did Gao Mao feel that he had done something hugely wrong, and he started to feel a little scared. It turned out that this was not a test. It turned out that the fire dinosaur in the new life had set the fire. But Gao Mao glanced at Yang Yu next to him, glanced at Hong Kong, and Wenren Fangchen, who was temporarily in the back row of the team. Suddenly, his nose felt sour and he murmured, "It's great, no one has it being eliminated." Gao Mao sniffed, then stood up straight and replied, "At that time, I thought this was the instructor's test. If my friends failed to pass the test of the flame, I would be the only one, then, what else? Meaning, of course I have to save them. But I couldn't do it with just my onyx jellyfish. Later, when the rainbow snake instructor came to chase me, I thought he was coming to catch me. If he caught me, we would all be eliminated." Gao Mao looked at the rainbow snake instructor. He glanced weakly in the direction. You. Instructor Rainbow Snake really couldn't breathe out. Just as he was about to say something, he was stopped by the look of the Viper Battalion commander. Instructor Rainbow Snake feels aggrieved. He is a good person. He is really a good person. It is so difficult to be such a good person. He has already said that the training was forced to be suspended due to an accident. Why are you still running? It's okay, just keep talking. Camp Viper's voice was not so cold this time, and there was more of a smile on his face, even a little gentle. I couldn't be caught by the rainbow snake instructor, so I ran near the quagmire, and then I met the giant swamp monster. Gao Mao's eyes drifted from the rainbow snake instructor to this he didn't know the viper instructor yet, and then lowered his head. I'm going to twist my butt and anger the swampert. Ha 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 ha, good, good, this butt twists so well. Including Gao Mao and Yang Yu, all the freshmen were confused. What do you mean by having such a good butt twist? The boys behind him, and even some girls, all secretly glanced at Gao Mao's butt. Some even stand on tiptoes. Instructor, what are you doing? Gao Mao felt a little panicked for no reason, and he was so panicked. Rainbow Snake, do you still think there is anything wrong with this, classmate? Viper glanced at Rainbow Snake. Report to the battalion commander. No, Instructor. Rainbow Snake stood up straight solemnly and shouted loudly. Very good. My adjutant, what about you? Report to the battalion commander. There is nothing wrong. The adjutant of the Lish battalion was as serious as the Rainbow Snake instructor. You may not understand, but we, the three of us, truly understand. Instructor Viper hammered his strong chest hard. Gao Mao, get out of the queue. Yes. I now announce that you are an official member of the 2019 class of freshmen in the military training class of Lishan Camp. Ah, Gao Mao was suddenly dumbfounded. Don't you understand? No, 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 no. No, 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 no. Listen, I don't understand. Thank you for the 100 coin support from the unparalleled magic sword for fish farming. Gao Mao, vote for recommendation. I understand this. Pokemon's Character Master. Author, AI Ren Huo Chiang Xiao. Chapter 88. Ah! A hysterical cry made Yang Yu, who was drinking water, spit out a mouthful of water. Cough 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 cough. Yang Yu saw the fat Gao Mao crying again from the direction of the cry. Gao Mao, are you okay? Hong Kong was about to sit down when he was frightened by the cry and stood up immediately. He also saw Gao Mao, who was crying, and helplessly held his forehead. What happened again? When Ren Fang Chen walked back to the dormitory from outside the door. His face and hair had just been washed, and there were still a lot of water droplets dripping down. I'm alone, Wu. Gao Mao was halfway through tidying up his bed in a daze, and he was frightened when he thought about living alone in the dormitory building arranged by Lish Camp. That lonely place. Why are there still people crying in the dormitory? Instructor Huang from the water team of number 39 company came in inexplicably holding a document. Gao Mao, why are you crying? Teach, instructor. It's understandable why you are so excited, Yang Yu, Hong Kong, and when Ren Fang Chen, Instructor Huang said solemnly while holding the document. Here, Yang Yu and the other three immediately lined up and stood at attention. After confirmation by the instructor of the snake camp, the three of you can also enter the snake camp for further training. Ah! A strange sound came from the quiet dormitory. Gao Mao, who was still aggrieved, suddenly froze. What did he just hear? What are you saying? Ah! It's not a document for you. Instructor Huang handed the document in his hand to Yang Yu, then came to the side of Gao Mao's bed. You, come down. Gao Mao got out of bed stupidly. Is this so exciting? Instructor Huang said with a half smile. No, 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 Gao Mao shook his head repeatedly, the left and right lumps of flesh on his face shaking. Look at what you look like, that's it? Go to the snake camp and perform well. You represent the honor of Company 39, Instructor Huang said on Gao Mao's shoulders. Yes, yes. Gao Mao nodded and bowed, the smile on his face could fly to the sky. Okay, I've finished what I need to say. You four should pack your things quickly. Okay, see you, Instructor Huang. Goodbye, Instructor Huang. After Yang Yu and the others watched Instructor Huang leave, they looked at each other, smiled he and slowly surrounded Gao Mao. You, 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 what do you three want to do? The smile on Gao Mao's face suddenly froze, and he quickly hugged the ladder next to him and backed away. Yang Yu, Hong Kong, Wenren Fang Chen, you three, please don't mess around. Yang Yu, Hong Kong, and Wenren Fang Chen shouted beside Gao Mao at the same time. Ah! Yang Yu roared next to Gao Mao. Damn it, he felt much better. The feeling of being choked by water just now was simply uncomfortable. You're still crying, didn't we go together too? Hong Kong looked at Gao Mao, who was already so frightened that he was lying in the corner of the lower bunk, and felt extremely happy. Take care of things, Wenren Fang Chen summoned his Squirtle to help organize things together. Gao Mao's whole body was paralyzed like a ball of spread jelly, and his whole body shook when he was poked. His eyes were dull, and he murmured like a mantra, you three, you are going too far. Get up quickly, we've all entered the snake camp. Yang Yu kicked Gao Mao's feet, and the guy was lying on his bed. Get up quickly, how can I clean up while you're lying here? Hey, Gao Mao turned over and sat up directly. Snake camp, gathering playground. First of all, congratulations to you, you have stood out from all the freshmen from the two universities, and our Lish camp will conduct intensive military training here. Viper, the commander of Lish camp, put his sunglasses back on, and under the afterglow of the setting sun, he looked there is momentum. Some of the precautions are not much different from what you used to do in an ordinary company, but one thing has completely changed. That's everyone's military merit. At the same time, the Rainbow Snake instructor and 3 other instructors pushed a closed closet to the front and stood next to it one after another. You must all be curious about what is inside. So now, I will reveal it to you. Ordinary quality energy cubes are worth 80 military merit points. Good quality energy cubes are worth 220 military merit points, and there are even excellent quality energy cubes. Battalion Commander Viper gestured to open the bottom floor of the closet, took out 3 boxes of different materials, and displayed them in front of Yang Yu and others. Excellent quality energy cube, Yang Yu's heart jumped. Is this the real benefit of military merit points? How many military merit points does he have now? Completed military training for 3 days, 10 military merit points every day, adding the previous 950, there are a total of 980 military merit points. He defeated the instructor again to get 500, but this 500 needs to be divided equally among 4 people, 1105. By the way, who was the instructor who deducted 50 military merit points from him last time? This is 0.625 ordinary quality energy cubes, which is close to 62.5 elf coins. Yang Yu felt heartbroken when he thought of this. Gao Mao screamed again, and this time he quickly covered his mouth. Is there a problem? Report to the instructor. No, no, no. Gao Mao's face was distorted for a while, and everyone could see that he had many problems. Are you sure? Instructor Viper repeated it again, and then smiled. He knew some interesting things that happened in the original company before entering the Viper camp. This is the most common reward. Ah! The most common, the most common. This is an energy cube of excellent quality. Inevitably some voices emerged from the ranks. It's just an energy cube. Wang Qian curled her lips disdainfully, hearing those surprised sounds and feeling that it was meaningless. Listen to me now. I know everyone is curious about what you can get in exchange for military merit points, but now, please don't talk when I'm talking. Battalion Commander Viper raised his voice slightly, and saw that the team quickly quieted down, satisfied. Nod. The white ordinary move learning machine has 1,500 military merit points, the blue rare one has 9,000 military merit points. As for the purple epic and gold legendary move learning machines, I think it makes no sense to talk about it. The former has 36,000 military merit points and the latter has 90,000 military merit points. Golden legendary move learning machine. At this time, both Yang Yu and Wang Qian showed great shock. How can this be? A legendary move learning machine that rarely appears in the Elf Alliance, how could it be found here? Murong Wentao lost his voice. Okay, little guys, put away your unrealistic ideas. After your 30 days of military training, I think it's already great to get a blue rare level move learning machine. As for the higher level ones, it's hard to difficult. Instructor, how could there be a move learning machine of that level here? When Renai Unhai couldn't help but ask. Sorry, report to the instructor. When Ren Yunhai's eyes were extremely hot. I said there is, of course there is. There is no need to deceive you. Instructor Viper clapped his hands. Okay, the next floor of the closet. Thanks to Shangshan Shuiyi for supporting fish farming with 500 coins. The next level up in the closet is a vote of recommendation. Pokemon's Character Master. Author, AI Ren Huo Xiangxiao. Chapter 89. Potential Potion. Yang Yu felt like a country bumpkin entering the city today. He was always startled when he heard anything, and what the Viper instructor introduced was just like Dobeo's Guess You Like It, and it was really very special. Like, only children make choices, adults I want them all. However, the reality is 2A, I'm sorry. Potential Potion. These include health potions, physical attack potions, physical defense potions, special attack potions, special defense potions and speed potions. They are divided into these 6 types just like the effort potions in previous games. This is an excellent product finally developed by the Elf Alliance through decades of research on tree fruits from all over the world. It can stimulate the potential of elves to improve a certain aspect of their abilities. Improving potential is a very long process, and the effect is not immediate. Of course, it cannot be ruled out that some elves are very receptive and adaptable to potential potions, and the effect may be relatively better. I think most of you freshmen have never fed potential potions to elves. Potential potions can indeed be bought in the outside Elf Alliance, and the price is really not expensive, about 10,000 elf coins. However, due to the special nature of the medicine, it is usually out of stock, and there may only be some other ways to obtain it. As your instructor, I responsibly recommend this potential potion to you. You can redeem different potential potions according to the characteristics of different elves. The exchange price is 5,000 military merit points. This is for those of you who can come to Lee Snake Camp for training. Exclusive discounts for outstanding freshman, instructor Viper said. Of course, there are some gadgets at the end, the imitation bell of comfort, priced at 3,000 military points. I have more than 200 military merit points. As soon as Gao Mao returned to the dormitory of Lish Camp, he lay on the bed and started yelling. My 50 military points. A louder voice killed Gao Mao instantly. Gao Mao was stunned. Who is this? Damn it, Yang Yu. Yang Yu glanced at Gao Mao, blinked at him, and continued to close his eyes and pretend to be miserable. My 50 military merit points. Yang Yu, I have more than 200 military points. You only have 50 points, Gao Mao refused. Your military merit points are still yours after you eat them. My 50 military merit points were fed to the dog, Yang Yu cried loudly again. You too. Wenren Fangchen held his forehead, feeling a little headache. Another cry suddenly emerged. It's just that the sound doesn't sound like crying, but like joining in the fun. What's going on with you? Wenren Fangchen raised his head and glanced at Hong Kong on the upper bunk. I think I would be at a loss if I didn't scream. Hong Kong grinned at Wenren Fangchen, then closed his eyes and began to think. Stop, 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 others will move their things back later, and the impact will not be good. Wenren Fangchen had a headache. What kind of roommates are these? What do you want to exchange for? Yang Yu asked while lying on the lower bunk. He wanted everything the battalion commander and instructor took out. If Yang Yu had enough military merit points, he would be sure to redeem everything. Even ordinary energy cubes would not be left to the instructor, but he now has a total of 1,105 points. There are also 50 military merit points deducted by a certain instructor. That potential potion is really good. When Squirtle was just born from the elf egg, I gave it a life potion, and then added a special attack potion. It was of great help to the elf's growth when Renfang Chen said in advance, I also suggest that you can redeem that one first. Hey, he is indeed a boss. Hong Kong was envious. Will it still have any good effect if I use it now? Yang Yu couldn't help but ask. Actually, potential potions also have different levels. If used before the first evolution starts, they will have a certain effect. When Renfang Chen said, it's just that under normal circumstances, if you use the same potential potion continuously, the following ones will be it has no effect, so one is enough. Then I'm going to exchange one for my salted fish king. I'm thinking of exchanging it for the life potion first, since he hasn't drank it yet. Yang Yu thought for a while and said. What, your Magikarp hasn't drank the life potion yet? Almost at the same time that Fang Chen opened his mouth, a surprised voice came from outside the door. Murong Wentao came back with his luggage and looked at Yang Yu in surprise. Then how could your Carp King be so big? Yang Yu glanced at Renfang Chen, who shrugged his shoulders. Yang Yu just said casually, there was an accident when I was raising him. The life potion is equivalent to a potion that promotes the growth and development of elves. It is basically suitable for all elves. At the same time, the effect is more obvious for some elves with large bodies. The Salty Fish King has such a large size because he has understood a hidden characteristic regeneration power that he should not possess. Regeneration power requires the elf to have a strong body and vitality in the body, so after feeding a large amount of energy cubes the result is, the Salted Fish King swells. Physical expansion. I also hope that something like this happens when I raise Ivysaur. Murong Wentao was very envious. Regarding the evolution of Ivysaur, the Ivysaur flower, the larger the size, the greater the combat effectiveness. The stronger and more vitality you will have. Bang! There was a sound of a utensil falling to the ground, followed by a crackling sound. Murong Wentao's expression changed greatly, and he quickly dropped his luggage and turned around. Ivysaur, Ivysaur, what's wrong with you, Ivysaur? Yang Yu. Renfang Chen. Yang Yu wiped his sweat. Is this guy possessed by the crow's mouth? The corridor outside was a bit chaotic. Ivysaur had a lot of things tied with vine whips, such as the wash basin. She couldn't lift it just now. Before she could stand still, the things behind her overturned. Fortunately, Yang Yu and the others ran over to help, otherwise the aisle would have been even more blocked. Thank you all. Renfang Chen and Wenren Yunhai will be here soon. Murong Wentao wiped his sweat, thanked everyone for their help, and reminded in a low voice. Don't worry, as long as he doesn't look for trouble, I won't trouble him. Renfang Chen shrugged, keeping out of sight. One after another, all the boys from the intensive military training English camp arrived at this dormitory. Wenren Yunhai was also there, but he came directly to his bed as if he didn't see Yang Yu and the others. Have you packed your things? We'll be ready to assemble in 10 minutes. Yes, Instructor Rainbow Snake. Asking for votes every day. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Pokemon's Character Master. Author, Ai Ren Huo Chiang Xiao. Chapter 90. Training at the Snake Camp officially begins. This is the first batch of students. In the future, some freshmen will continue to defeat the instructors of the original company in training, but if they are a few days late, they may lose an excellent opportunity. Opportunities to exchange military merit points for cherished props. After all, there are many more opportunities to gain military merit points in the Snake Camp than in the original company. Okay, come and gather. The assembly whistle blew, and the freshmen and elves who were training in various areas of the training ground returned to the gathering place. However, many people were covered in mud, including some elves. At least Yang Yu has broken the pot now. The salted fish king was soaking in the quagmire and flicking his tail. The mud in the quagmire splashed on him. People who didn't know thought that there was now an elf with an extra attribute. Mud type. If you go to a barbecue with the salted fish king now, you may get a magical food called Honkigong's beggar fish. The rainbow snake instructor looked at all the freshmen and elves, and when he saw the Magi-Carp who was covered in mud with only his big slanted eyes, he and Magi-Carp blinked at the same frequency. Haha, it seems that you are training very hard. Instructor Rainbow Snake smiled and lowered his head, making a mark on the daily training record. Everyone must have a little experience with the various environments of the training ground, such as dense forests, mire, water, grassland, etc., and at least you can accompany the elf to experience the effects of moves in different environments. Let me tell you one thing. Tomorrow is the first 7-day competition. As the freshman of the Lee Snake Camp with intensive military training, you cannot embarrass the Lee Snake Camp. However, I believe that you must be the best. Do you have confidence? Have. The roar echoed through the sky. The elf competition venues are divided into land, water, and air, with cross-country running and obstacle running respectively. The air is naturally divided into aerial cross-country and aerial obstacles. By the way, flying elf should be careful in the aerial obstacles. Now, don't get hit by obstacles. I'm not worried about your freshman's field, the entire military camp, and the formation, but you have to work harder in the cross-country running behind. Okay, disband. Yang Yu was not excited at all, and even wanted to have a charcoal grilled salted fish king, because now he lowered his head and looked at the salted fish king covered in mud. Go take a shower. When training under the scorching sun, the quagmire is indeed a good place to escape the heat, even better than a pool. This is why Swampert likes to stay there. At the same time, many water elves also like to stay in the quagmire. The reason for rolling, but here's the problem, it's so dirty. Yang Yu had to wait until everyone else in the bathhouse had left a lot before he carried the salted fish king in and then threw it to the ground with a clack. The salted fish king lay on the wet ground and twisted. Mom sells batches, and she has to give this guy a bath. Yang Yu directly picked up the laundry brush and started brushing Fat Zion Yu. Ka 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 ka, Lu. The salted fish king closed his eyes and moaned comfortably for a while. The strength of the bath was just right. Ah, so is this the life of a leisurely salted fish? So cool. After a while, the salted fish king twisted his tail, his eyes suddenly opened, and his two beards made gestures at the spot where he had just bathed. Continue, why don't you continue? Yang Yu looked at the smug look of the salted fish king and wanted the water arrow turtle to fire 2 high-pressure water cannons at the sky. You are already a mature salted fish king, it's time to know how to bathe yourself. However, the salted fish king turned over and gestured to his other side. When you hear someone, you know the morning, when you hear someone, you know the morning. Yang Yu's voice sounded in the bathhouse. Obviously, when Ren Fang Chen was not here. It would be nice if there were other water elves here. It would be fine to give this salted fish king a few rounds of water guns, which would be much faster. Now Yang Yu can only silently be a hard-working shit shoveler. Ah! Watch your moves and sweep through thousands of armies. Swish, swish, swish. The salted fish king continued to close his eyes comfortably and enjoy the VIP service. Strike later. The salted fish king opened his eyes. Why did he stop again? At this moment, Shua. Ka. This is so cool, taking a bath is really a wonderful thing. Just when the salted fish king was still looking forward to what tricks he would have next, he heard a weak point break sound, blinked curiously, and a poke ball was thrown over. No no no. The curious eyes turned into endless resistance. You, cheating. Little boy, let's see how I deal with you. Yang Yu smiled softly, threw a few elf balls up and down, and put them in a basket on the side. This place is covered with mud on your body. Damn, it's too difficult to wash. It was a very casual evening. This is the only night in the week where there is no gathering or training. Tomorrow is the day of the 7-day competition for the whole military camp. You can see lights flashing in the distance, and some instructors are followed by a few powerful and strange forces, carrying things and preparing for the competition. What are you looking at? Here, eat an apple. Hong Kong walked over and took a look at Yang Yu. It's nothing. I see the instructors over there are working on tomorrow's venue, Yang Yu said. Your Carp King is too exaggerated today. Except for his eyes, the rest of his body is covered in mud. Hong Kong smiled, summoned his Mohaima, bit off a small piece of apple and handed it to it. It's really hard to wash. Fortunately, it's done. How did you go to play basketball with the elves today? I didn't even watch. It feels like the losers are almost crying, haha, well, those weird and powerful guys are so crazy. With 4 hands, they are playing basketball so well that they don't even know when they will be intercepted. Hong Kong, he rolled his eyes and continued, but I kind of realized that my Mohaima may be about to evolve, but there is still a chance. So powerful, Yang Yu looked at Mohaima, who was being fed with some surprise. How could such a small person see the signs that he was about to evolve? Look at the horns on its head. They have grown a lot now. When they grow to a certain level, they will evolve. Hong Kong was very happy. How is your Carp King? How can such an elf evolve in advance? Is it a sign of something like that? Yang Yu shrugged, not yet. You also know that the evolution of Salty Fish King into Gyarados is not a matter of level, but some shortcomings. Yes, I plan to redeem a bottle of special attack potential potion this time, preferably before evolving, Hong Kong said with a smile. What are your thoughts on tomorrow's competition? Yang Yu asked casually. In the first competition, I think I may not be able to beat the 3 of you. However, there will be 3 more times after that, after my Xiao Mo evolves, you know. Yang Yu patted Hong Kong on the shoulder and looked at the stars in the sky. Come on. The murmuring voice seemed to be talking to more than just Hong Kong. Pokemon's Character Master. Author, Ai Ren Huo Chiang Xiao. Chapter 91. The summer morning came very early, even if it was only 5 or 6 o'clock, the rays of the sun had already enveloped the entire military camp, and it even started to feel a little bit hot. What is hotter than the sun is the playground at this time. All freshmen in military training from Hangzhou University and University of Electronic Science and Technology of China gathered in this large playground with great momentum. It felt like everyone was joining in a vigorous battle. All of you, turn right, show your momentum, shout your slogans, and make the whole military camp excited. Pay attention to the orderliness of the team during jogging, and don't fall behind. Company number 1 of the University of Electronic Science and Technology of China, let's go. The company of the Sharp Snake Battalion was also among them. The first project of the 7-day competition has already begun. To be honest, this project is just to bring warmth to the freshmen with mixed scores. After all, military training is always to give some hope to some students who are lagging behind. As long as you persist, you will get military merit points. As for the subsequent projects, don't think about it. The individual cross-country race is a scoring event for some athletes. Although Yang Yu can run faster, it is far behind those of the school track and field teams. It's not bad, I got 45 military merit points. Yang Yu took a look at his results after reaching the finish line and could only spread his hands. It was very average, but when he thought about the separate rewards for the snake camp. Salted Fish King, whether I can make a fortune depends on you. Yang Yu's eyes shone, he placed the Salted Fish King on his knees and thighs very seriously, looked at each other, and said seriously. Boom, boom, boom. The Salted Fish King spit out a few bubbles, but nothing happened. Do you understand? If you understand, just blink. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, I'll just assume you understand. If you don't get first place, I'll come back and burn you. The Salted Fish King stared with his big crooked eyes in disbelief. Meow, meow, meow. Are you speaking human language? Listen, the people next to you are shouting, come on, 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 and feed the elf. Why don't you just feed me? Yang Yu felt the shock of the Salted Fish King and patted his belly. I know you can kill them instantly, in the water realm. When the Salted Fish King heard this, he huffed and felt that this was the right time. His cheeks puffed up in a very powerful manner, and his beard was raised to the back of his head. Work hard. River around the city. This is where all the company's water elves train, and now, it has also become a dedicated venue for competitions. The Ring City River is divided into 3 sections. The first section is a straight line, which is also the longest straight line. The speed difference between the elves is reflected here. The second section is a circular curve, passing through the military camp. It can be said that there are some twists and turns in several mountains and forests. The third section of the road is the road back to the starting point. The end of the Huancheng River is the starting point. One lap of the road determines the outcome. Gao Mao, are you here? Yang Yu saw his partner. What batch are you in? It's still early for our water elf competition, let's go see the land ones first, Hong Kong suggested. I'm in the 3rd batch. Yang Yuo's 5th batch. Then I'll go with you, Gao Mao, I'm also in the 5th batch, Yang Yu said with a smile. Ah, it's over, the first one is gone. The first one is gone. Come on, Yang Yu patted Gao Mao's belly and smiled maliciously, turning his hand into poking his belly. Tell me how many military merit points you got in the cross-country race. I said, it's only 80. You 3, stop. Gao Mao couldn't bear the poke in his stomach and quickly surrendered. 80, I know, it's twice as much as me. Hong Kong gave Gao Mao a shoulder. 8 times as big as mine. Wenren Fang Chen rubbed his eyes. He. Gao Mao smiled silly. Get to your places, ready, run. Snapped. An order gun was fired, and extremely lively shouts came from not far away. Come on. Dudu, come on, rush on, you walking grass, why do you stay where you are and don't move? Ah, arm strength, run quickly, you can't lose to other elves, hurry up. You, Yang Yu, Gao Mao, Wenren Fang Chen, look over there, they're running crazy. Hong Kong pointed at the rising dust behind Yang Yu, and there was the roaring of the earth and the sound of shouting and anxiety. Let's go and have a look. Yang Yu was also very interested in this interesting game. Although he didn't have any elves on land at the moment, he might be able to go and see other elves. Think about it. Ivysaur, run quickly, run faster, please run faster. An extremely familiar voice came from one direction. Murong Wentao was almost crying and begging to shout at the viewing venue. Yang Yu and the others came up to take a look. Hey, let me go, why are there still a few stragglers here? A little wild boar lying on the ground and moving slowly with its eyes closed, as if it was zzz, and a walking grass that was running with its short legs. The walking grass was still jumping and shouting when it saw the elves who had gone away, as if telling them to run slower and wait for it. Of course, the most eye-catching thing is naturally the Ivysaur that is walking hard and fast. After all, there are very few evolved elves among the freshmen. This Ivysaur is walking hard. Running, it's a pity. It seems to be running very slowly. Chi. Chi chi chi, Hong Kong couldn't help but cover his mouth and laugh, but unfortunately the sound inevitably came out. Murong Wentao, are you in the first group? Yang Yu looked sympathetic. This competition is very unfriendly to this classmate. Yes, Murong Wentao has lost his dream and doesn't want to work hard anymore. The reality is like this. It's not that the more powerful elves have an advantage in such a competition. Can you have an elf battle? I guarantee that every minute beat everyone here into a pippy pig, just like this little wild boar. My military merit is beyond compare. Yang Yu wanted to laugh, but because Murong Wentao was in front of him, he could only turn his head and laugh. I think I can only watch the show. How are you guys? It hasn't started yet. Murong Wentao continued to cheer for Ivysaur for a while and was about to start eating. He asked Yang Yu and the others. Water type comes later. Where are the others? Wenren Fang Chen's relationship with Murong Wentao was not as frozen as that between him and Wenren Yunhai, but they asked in a friendly manner. Well, Wang Qian is there in the preparation area. I feel like she is going to go berserk. She should be number 1 in the second batch. Yang Yu glanced at the direction prepared over there. The fire dinosaur was already gearing up, and the other elves were trembling. Then he looked at the Ivysaur that was still crawling hard not far from the starting line. Liang Liang. Please vote. Pokemon's Character Master. Author, Ai Ren Huo Chiang Xiao. Chapter 92. Appeared. Appeared in the field of vision. That's a Dudu. 2 slender but very powerful legs stepped on the ground and rode away. Beep, beep, beep. Come on, come on, come on. When Dudu crossed the red ribbon at the finish line with his 2 proud heads held high, he was very proud and raised his head on the field and made an excited sound, as if he was accepting all the cheers around him. At the same time, it also discovered a few elves that were very, very, very backward. Oh, isn't this Ivysaur? Why, it couldn't run after just a few steps. When Dudu came to Ivysaur with almost contemptuous eyes, he looked proud, as if a victorious general had returned and saw the defeated soldiers. Ivysaur turned its head and saw Dudu's sullen expression. Of course she knew what it meant, but she rolled her eyes. Ivysaur, between the 2 of you, which one crosses the line first? Suddenly, the triumphant Dudu seemed to have pressed the pause button. The 2 had stopped moving and suddenly looked at each other. They both saw the meaning in the other's eyes. Ziuodu, I crossed the line first. Right head, I was clearly the first to cross the line. Ziuodu, it's me. You are lying. Right head, look at the trick, you bastard. Ziuodu, I'm afraid you won't succeed. Just when the audience saw Dudu's 2 heads pecking each other, a pokeball was thrown over. The scene suddenly became quiet. What's going on? Gao Mao looked a little confused. Why did Dudu start a fight with himself? Yang Yu knew something about such an elf, they are probably quarreling. What's so noisy about this? Gao Mao was still puzzled. They should be fighting over who can cross the line first. Who knows? Dudu is such an elf after all. Murong Wentao shrugged. He wished that Dudu could fight with him longer. Anyway, he was already countdown. Yang Yu had fewer thoughts about catching a Dudu in the future, no matter how fast it was, but sometimes like now, pecking himself, isn't this just idle time? Hurry up, hurry up, hurry up, the elves behind you, the second batch will be ready to go in 5 minutes. One after another, Other elves came to the finish line, and their respective trainers used elf balls to collect them, preparing to make way for the second batch of competition teams. Ivysaur, you should come back quickly too. Murongwentao felt his scalp numb when he saw the fire dinosaur in the second group. Snapped. The command gun sounded, and the second batch of elves also rushed forward. The most eye-catching one is the menacing fire dinosaur with its tail burning with flames. It was okay when we first lined up, but once we started running, the flames in the tail became bigger and bigger. Not only that, but the tail swayed from side to side, making the elves next to them tremble with fear, especially the grass. Some elves from the department. Jump. Jump again. Keep jumping. Before the fire dinosaur ran to the lead, the surrounding elves felt that they were not running, but skipping. Although it's a bit thicker than a rope, I'm not kidding you about that ball of fire on the tail. The fire dinosaur easily reached the front of the team. Well done, fire dinosaur. Needless to say, this sharp and proud voice belongs to Wang Qian. Yang Yu, the four of them plus Murongwentao looked at each other in confusion as they watched the fire dinosaur retreat. Is this a self-inflicted cheater? River around the city. The scene of the water elf competition. Since the river surrounding the city is very long, the departure time of each batch of water elves is 10 minutes. That is to say, 10 minutes after the first batch of water elves sets off, the second batch will set off from the starting point. At the same time, in order to avoid the duplication of some elves, that is, the appearance of multiple horn goldfish and black waves in the same batch, the same elves will be in different starting batches. Of course, some accidents cannot be avoided. Yang Yu didn't expect that in the fifth batch, besides his salted fish king, he would also encounter a salted fish king. However, that salted fish king. Yang Yu's salted fish king, why are you so fat, little brother? The salted fish king from a passerby, who are you? Are you inflated? Yang Yu, ha 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 ha, I'm about to die, ha 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 ha. Gao Mao was already on the verge of crying with laughter. At the starting line, a salted fish king occupying at least 4 or 5 runways was staring at a shivering salted fish king on the far side track. This is the first time Yang Yu's salted fish king has seen his own kind in a long time since he was captured, but this one seems to be a bit awkward. Yang Yuqiang suppressed a smile, lowered his head and touched his nose, and said to the passerby who was crying beside him, "Brother, is this your salted fish king?" "Yeah, this one is so big, is it yours?" Passerby's voice was trembling. "This carp king, oh my god, has he become a spirit? Oh my god, this is such a big carp king, this is the first time I've ever seen him. Is this really Magi carp? Damn it!" 6666. Most of the students participating in the competition have never seen the same elf with such a big difference in body size. Even the instructor's ABO monster, the size difference between each other is not too big, at least not as it appears in the competition venue at this time. Same as the 2 Magi carp above. Maybe this smaller Magi carp hasn't grown to the size of an adult Magi carp, but for this extra large one, if you want to take the high-speed rail, you have to buy at least half a ticket, right? Having said that, when taking the high-speed rail, can't you just stay in the pokeball? Why do you have to go out and buy a half ticket? Isn't this a waste of money? Too far away. There is no harm without contrast. Especially Yang Yu, the salted fish king, kept looking at this little salted fish king, just like an adult looking at a little kid. I remember. Is this the same Magi carp who defeated the instructor and went to Sharp Snake Camp to strengthen military training? That's right. It's this size. I feel like there's no other Magi carp, just this one. Does anyone still remember that on the first day of military training, one of the instructor's monsters was knocked unconscious by Magi carp? I couldn't believe it if I beat him to death before. At that time, I was still thinking, what kind of magi carp is it? Do it, oh my god. Now I believe it. For a time, the freshmen around him were talking a lot, and their eyes looking at Yang Yu were filled with a certain amount of awe. How did you feed this carp king? To be able to keep magi carp so fat, his family must have very good conditions. No wonder the first elf dared to raise an elf like magi carp, which evolves completely one day at a time, and is quite difficult to evolve. The fifth batch is ready. Get to your positions. Snapped. The instructor gave the order and the gunfire sounded again. Set off. Ding, please vote. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Pokemon's Character Master. Author, Ai Ren Huo Xiangxiao. Chapter 93. Whoosh. Whoosh whoosh. Completely different from playing on land, the abilities of water elves can be fully utilized in the water. The water depth of the city ringing river is enough for water elves to overtake or be overtaken at different depths in the water. This start alone is like the 8 immortals crossing the sea, each showing his magical powers. The moment Yang Yu's salted fish king sounded the command gun, he swung his tail and ejected directly with strong power. The elf in front or the elf behind the tail immediately felt an unbearable feeling. The force of resistance can't help but deviate to both sides. A few smart elves saw that the road ahead was squeezed out in an instant, and they immediately scrambled to follow the path of the salted fish king and came to the front of the team. At the same time, some elves lowered their heads and brought their bodies to the bottom of the city ringing river, using underwater sneaking to gradually surpass the clearly visible elves above. This is all under the water. Of course, the actions of the elves on the water are a bit irritating. Take the lotus leaf boy for example. The elf is holding a green lotus leaf and trying hard to hold onto the shell of a squirtle with its 4 little feet. Without any effort of his own, he just took a ride and fought his way out of the crowded queue. There is also an orange one, damn it, giant claw crab. This little elf was even more arrogant in his actions. He directly clamped the tail of a slowpoke with pliers. The painful slowpoke swam forward crazily, yeah, 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 and on the tail that was swung up on the water, I want to get rid of the big claw crab behind, but it seems a bit difficult. Originally, this giant claw crab seemed to be trying to pinch the fat magi carp, but in the end, who knows how that magi carp ran so fast. I can only settle for the next best thing and find an elf with a tail. Of course, the showiest one is Gao Mao's agate jellyfish. Little Top Hat stepped on the Hot Wheels, which was not as good as the previous times. He passed a large number of water elves directly from the rear of the team. This feeling of speeding made him smile crookedly. What a great word for Shuang. Yang Yu, have you seen that big claw crab? Gao Mao has been laughing today. All the elves here are talented. It's such a show that I'm dizzy. Yang Yu smiled and shook his head. He saw the slow-moving beast with its tail clamped by the giant crab, swimming around while yelling yeah, 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 yeah. Looking like this, the smile on Yang Yu's face gradually faded, thinking of some warm memories. Dudu, are you okay now? Yang Yu seemed to see the figure of the slowpoke running back and forth on the beach holding the salted fish king in front of him, as if he saw the pink figure waiting for his arrival at the entrance of the passage every day, with those dull eyes, a stupid smile, a stupid posture, and a stupid cry. Hey, stay tuned, next time we meet, you may not be able to hold the salted fish king. Yang Yu felt his eyes wet slightly and suddenly laughed again. Yang Yu. Yang Yu. Yang Yu, why are you crying? Are you okay? Gao Mao looked nervous. Why was he crying and laughing all of a sudden? What happened? No, it's okay, I just thought of something. Yang Yu came back to his senses. The scene in front of him seemed to be when he got off work one afternoon. The pink figure was still standing in that familiar position, looking at him. As he gradually disappeared into the passage. Well, it's fine, but if you have something on your mind, just say it. It's not good to keep it in your heart. Gao Mao nodded suspiciously. Although he didn't quite believe it, he didn't ask too much. Hey, look, my little top hat can hardly be seen anymore. Thanks, Brother Yang Yu rubbed his eyes and sighed a little in his heart, but soon his eyes became serious. He would not forget the agreement. Jiangnan Province Water System Gym. Salty Fish King, you have to work hard, otherwise we will not be able to catch up with Slowpoke. Yang Yu took a deep breath. Every competition was an opportunity to earn military merit points. He would not give up every military merit point, let alone waste it. During the training at the Lishan camp, more than 60 military merit points are obtained every day. If it is carried out in a regular manner, although you can get the bottle of potential potion before the end of the military training, it is still not enough. The instructor who deducted my military merit points last time. Yang Yu vaguely remembered that face. As long as I see him, I will definitely recognize him. Ah, sneeze. I'm going to. There are mountains and forests to the west of the military camp. Lao Chi, are you okay? Did you catch a cold? Who knows, it's still a bit cold here in the mountains and forests of the West District. I almost sneeze. A section of the waterway around the city runs through the mountains and forests here. During the 7-day competition, there will be several instructors guarding every section of the waterway at fixed locations, mainly to look after these water elves who are participating in the 7-day competition. To avoid injuries or confrontations. Instructor Chi and an instructor named Pang were assigned the task of paying attention to the competition here. Since this section of the waterway is relatively shallow, there is a bridge above it. Due to the existence of an arched bridge hole, the waterway here is also relatively shallow. Relatively narrow. Haha, a stowaway elf was captured. This giant claw crab kept holding Slowpoke's tail between its legs, and ended up running so far, haha. I also have a lotus leaf boy here. This guy grabbed directly on Squirtle's shell. Oh, these little elves, cleverness is useless on the right path. Damn it, what kind of elf is this? He rides on Hot Wheels, how awesome is he? Ha ha ha, that's an agate jellyfish, I've seen this agate jellyfish before. There was one like this when I defeated Instructor Wang's ABO monster before. I was very impressed. Ha 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 ha. The laughter of many instructors came from the liaison machine, and some were even very magical. However, this is also the fun of military training. The annual military training is also very precious to these instructors. It is a rare day to relax and rest. Especially during the 7-day competition, all kinds of funny situations will happen. Smuggler elves like Lotus Leaf Boy and Big Claw Crab will appear every year, and their styles will be different every year, making them very interesting every time. Funny. Lao Chi, Lao Pang, there are 2 speeding elves flying in your direction. Remember to take care of them. I can clearly see a carp king and an onyx jellyfish here. The voice of other instructors came from the contact machine. King carp and onyx jellyfish, that's nothing. Instructor Chi shrugged. These are small elves, and it is not easy to pass through the opening of this bridge. Come on, come on, come on, damn, there's something about this agate jellyfish. It really is a Hot Wheel. Instructor Pang's eyes widened. If he didn't have a mobile phone with him, he would have to take a photo. That carp king. Instructor Chi was stunned, his eyes flickering suspiciously. Old Pang, did I get it wrong? Is that one really a carp king? Why does it feel like its shape is abnormal? Let me see. Instructor Pang squinted his eyes and looked at the red figure swimming quickly in the water. The figure was getting bigger and clearer. Damn it, isn't this the carp king of that little guy from the snake camp? What did you say, Instructor Chi suddenly swallowed and his eyes bulged. The little guy from the snake camp, the Magi Carp. Boom. Snapped. There were two heavy sounds at the cave entrance under the bridge. Stuck, stuck. Ticket. 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 Pokemon's Character Master. Author, Ai Ren Huo Chiang Xiao. Chapter 94. Kalu. Kalu. The salted fish king held his breath and squeezed forward hard. He didn't know why it felt tighter and tighter. At this moment, he felt something moving on his body around the back half of his body. Kukukuku. At this time, the agate jellyfish's head has been squeezed to the point of deformation, and it is a bit awkward to speak. Brother Xianyu, please move, I'm stuck. Salted Fish King, I'm moving. Can't you see that I'm trying to squeeze out? Agate jellyfish, no. The Salted Fish King twisted his tail and prepared to continue working hard. Agate jellyfish, no, 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 Brother Salted Fish King, my glasses, 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 glasses. This is a pair of glasses with nearly 800 degrees of nearsightedness. In order to prevent the glasses from being worn out, the agate jellyfish would rather deform his head. These days, without wearing glasses, the world seems to be mosaic. The Salted Fish King was about to speak when he suddenly saw two heads with short hair sticking out of the bridge opening in front of him. It's too late. My carp has already got stuck in the bridge hole. The specific reason is that it's too fat. Also, the crown on the carp's head is big enough. Instructor Chi communicated with others through the liaison machine. The instructors at the location reported the news. Ha 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 ha. There is actually an elf stuck. Is this Carp King a fool? If an elf is the size of a mosquito-repellent frog, he won't be able to walk through the bridge hole and jump directly from the top of the bridge. This Carp King can't jump with water? Ha 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 ha. The laughter in the contact machine was extremely happy. The Salted Fish King seemed to understand the meaning of water splashing. He blinked and suddenly appeared in the bridge hole. Kukukukukuku. Onyx Jellyfish, who was just about to move back to see if he could move out of the bridge hole, felt a pain in his head and stars in his eyes, as if he had been hit by the ultimate attack of a beast. You, what are you doing? The voices of the two instructors continued. I've seen it. The Carp King is probably stuck on both sides, and the crown is also stuck on the top of the bridge hole. Hey, don't tell me, I didn't notice that the crown can be so big before. Ha 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 ha, is this what we often say, if you want to wear a crown, you must bear its weight? Because only those who are so strong can bear the weight of this crown? Ha ha. Pull out this agate jellyfish first. Okay, this agate jellyfish has already seen King Magi Carp get into the bridge hole, and actually got in after him. It's probably that his head is filled with water. Agate jellyfish felt like she heard the most beautiful sound. The Salted Fish King's two big, crooked eyes looked pitifully full of longing. Come on, help me pull it out too. The agate jellyfish tried its best to stretch out one of its own straps. Instructor Chi and Instructor Pang smiled and pulled it. The two of them pulled hard toward the back in the water, pulling out the long translucent strap like a tug of war. I only saw the long belt became so long, and then became snapped. A crisp sound. The agate jellyfish was immediately pulled out like something stuck in the bridge hole. The extremely elastic strap made the watery head fly out with a whoosh, like an elastic yo-yo. Be careful, ha ha ha, Instructor Chi's chest popped, and the agate jellyfish stuck directly to it. Under the crooked glasses, his eyes felt dizzy. Are you okay? Instructor Pang asked with a smile. After hearing the question, the agate jellyfish stretched out another belt and made an O shape. I think it's okay. At this time, the sound of pa 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 was heard from the bridge hole. come on, it's my turn, help me. The salted fish king patted his tail happily like ha, making rhythmic splashes on the water. Instructor Chi first tore off the agate jellyfish stuck to his uniform, carefully placed it on the ground, and then prepared to deal with this big guy. Hey, how do you think that kid made Carp King so fat? Instructor Pang rolled up his sleeves and made preparations as if he was ready for a big fight. Ha ha ha, that interesting boy, I still remember that I deducted his military points. The little elf he raised is also interesting. Instructor Chi looked at the big tail, he was ready. I would like to see what this Carp King will look like after it evolves, but unfortunately, I can't see it during military training. Instructor Pang squatted down, spotted the tail, and suddenly took action. Crack, click, click, click. The salted fish king felt his tail tighten and his whole body suddenly shrink. The salted fish king has never experienced this feeling before. He is basically held, either in his arms, placed on his lap, or lying flat on the ground. He has never had his tail grabbed like this by others. Bang 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 bang. The tail that hit the water surface very powerfully broke away from Instructor Pang's hands. Go away, go away. Hey, hey, hey. Instructor Pang felt a huge force and jumped directly into the water, drinking all the water in his throat. I'm helping you. What's going on? Instructor Chi asked quickly. The strength of this Carp King is a bit harsh, the force of the tail swing is too great. Instructor Pang wiped his somewhat embarrassed face and gasped, this reminds me of the ABO monster who was killed by the company commander last time. That time of education, that tail was so cruel. No way. Instructor Chi looked unbelieving. This was just a Carp King. No matter how big the Carp King was, it was just a Carp King. It's not like they had no experience in catching the Carp King's tail. How can it be? If you don't believe me, come and try it. Instructor Pang gave up his position and pointed at the harmless tail of the salted fish king. Just try it. Plop. Bang 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 bang. This is really evil, cough 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 cough. Instructor Chi spat out a mouthful of water. He had already tried hard to grab the tail. Damn it, it looks like it is equipped with a high-power engine. This is salted fish. King's electric motor tail? Incredible, have you ever seen this kind of move using the tail? Iron tail, Instructor Pang touched his chin and thought. Iron tail, how could Carp King possibly learn iron tail? Such a series of slap tails, Instructor Chi shook his head. The salted fish king who was still in the bridge hole still blinked pitifully, can anyone come and save me, I'm stuck. Can you two hurry up? If I can't get out, it will be too late to come to you if I get burned. I've already been burned. The salted fish king himself didn't realize at all that his tail was purely an instinctive reaction. The moment he was held by the two instructors' hands, there was an instinctive force, wanting to break free. It's like touching a place that shouldn't be touched. Call it reverse scale. What should I do? Instructor Chi felt a little headache. Because right behind the salted fish king, there are already several elves swimming towards the side, and they are catching up. The first one to catch up, hey, isn't this the inflated brother salted fish king? It has to be said that although little elves like the salted fish king are weak in combat ability, except for a certain unscientific fat salted fish king, their speed in the water is still one of the best. After this passerby, the salted fish king catches up, looking curiously at the brother salted fish king who was blocked in the bridge hole. Do I need to swipe my card to pass here? And one card and one elf? As the passerby salted fish king stopped, other elves also saw a salted fish king passing through the bridge hole, but it seemed to be stuck here. That's weird, why hasn't the salted fish king come back yet? It seems that the little elf who came back has broken off. Logically speaking, my little top hat should also be back, right? Yang Yu and Gao Mao watched eagerly on the last straight section of the Huancheng River, as if they were not looking at elves, but moving military merit points, which were extremely valuable. Yang Yu, Gao Mao, haven't your elves come back yet? Hong Kong and Wenren Fangchen had already settled their military merit points and ran over to ask. I do not know. I do not know either. Yang Yu and Gao Mao really didn't know what was going on. Is there an accident? Hong Kong was confused. What kind of surprises could there be? It's just a cross-country race, not an obstacle course. Yang Yu scratched his head. The obstacles in the land competition do have obstacles for the elves. The instructor has introduced them. If there are obstacles, if the race is hit by an obstacle, it may affect the elf's speed, but this is just a cross-country race. Hong Kong, haven't we all run away? Our elves are all back, which means there is nothing wrong with the city-wide river. There shouldn't be any accidents, right? Wenren Fangchen thought for a while and summoned Squirtle out. Squirtle, after you ran a lap, are there any places that impressed you deeply or were a little difficult? Wenren Fangchen squatted down and asked. Squirtle lowered his head and thought. Squirtle stretched out his left hand and touched his chin and began to think. Squirtle's eyes lit up and he raised his head. Jenny. Yang Yu, Gao Mao, Hong Kong, let's go to a place with few people, Wenren Fangchen said. Yang Yu and the others came to an open space with relatively few people. Squirtle used a water gun to draw a bridge-like place on the ground, with a bridge hole in the middle. Squirtle, there is a bridge here. Besides the bridge, is there anything special about it? Wenren Fangchen continued to ask calmly. Squirtle pointed in the direction of Yang Yu, and then drew a fish in front of the bridge hole. This is Lao Wen, you Squirtle is so awesome. Hong Kong admired him sincerely. Yang Yumin stepped forward and took a closer look. It seemed that he didn't find any problems. Wait. Why does this fish feel bigger than the bridge? Student Yang Yu, please pay attention to classmate Yang Yu. Please pay attention to classmate Yang Yu, a contestant of the 5th batch of water elf cross-country races. Your elf carp king is stuck in the bridge hole. Come to the starting point immediately after hearing the announcement. Repeat it again, classmate Yang Yu. In the patrol car, an instructor held a loudspeaker and shouted loudly near the starting line of the Huancheng River. Yang Yu. Wenren Fangchen. Hong Kong. Gao Mao. Instructor, I thought you wanted to say that my mother gave me 2 cans of Wangzhe milk. Attention all trainers, please vote for me crab.